Alright, so we're gonna try this again. New build. So instead of just having Holland focus on being a complete tank, he also has a couple of attack cards that's gonna combo off each other. But that actually causes his rank to go down by 1 when you tally up the I don't know what they're called, but the value for determining your rank. Palsette also doesn't doesn't have a healing card. She only has a initiate as a support, and then the rest is actually damage cards. Kukurito now has only 2 healing cards, and the rest is damage and 1 initiate. Okay. Let's get this going. Just gonna shuffle that a little bit more. Shuffle the boss cards as well. Check out my text here real quick. Just heard a strange sound outside of the window, so I'm just trying to check to see what that was. It's probably somebody slamming their car door like really loud, but you know. Alright, yeah, I'm not sure what that was. I think it was just somebody slammed the car door. Alright, so we're gonna start with well, let me see here. I've never read the story for this first for stage 0 here. I think we already talked about the whole setup. You know, just a bunch of adventurers checking, exploring an an abandoned ark that was just recently discovered. But each stage actually has like a little description. So for stage 0, it says Grunrika is the base camp built by the first research party and used by your expedition as a starting point for entering the Ark. However, there's a fairly large problem standing in your way. The forces of the Ark have transformed a wild boar into a nightmare come true. And it seems this particular raging boar has an appetite for heroes. Your team arrives to Grungrika in the afternoon, but the base camp has been the scene of violent massacre. Oh, this is actually kind of spicy. No explorers have survived the raging boar's wrath, and now it has turned its attention towards you. Will you turn the raging boar into an ivory trophy, or will you die before you even step foot in the Ark? Fortunately, mysterious crystals presents itself to you, speaking to you from within your hearts. It calls itself Mother Crystal, and states that it will guide you through the Ark as it had attempted with the previous exploration parties. Okay, they actually give you like a little hints here. This is a tutorial stage, which means that you'll be able to learn how the game works without too many mobs or too much trouble. The most difficult mob action in this stage will likely be summon and bind. So that's true. I've encountered summon and it's very annoying. So it's a good idea to deal with those first, either by debuffing the mobs or... And then one of them actually can keep debuffing themselves, so you have to keep debuffing them, which is really annoying. Or with skills like Crusader's March. I don't think I have that. Do I have Crusader's March? No, it must be like level 2 for something. The Raging Boar is pretty powerful, so a good strategy is to keep the mobs to a minimum so you can focus on lowering the boss's HP as quickly as possible. Keep in mind that the hardest mobs can be wiped out by Raging Boar's beatdown action. Yeah, that's true. Where he uses like the number of mobs that he has to attack you, to damage you, but the other mobs are wiped out. Most of the boss's dangerous action can be nullified with a buff, leaving your heavy hitters to deal damage and coast through for an easy victory. It's not that easy, but yeah, I see what you're saying. We have two characters who can debuff, so we're prepared. Okay, so for the first step there, we get to deal with two enemies. So we have the Screamer and the Shadow Hunter here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and defeat them. And if we're able to defeat them, then we're going to use... if I know that I'm going to be able to defeat them, then I'm going to use Cool Hunt or Leaf Cutting Strike so that we can move up a space and not trigger the mob encounter. And then the next space we're going to be able to claim a key, which is like it's going to reduce the boss's HP by 1. Okay, so Holland goes first. And we got two force tokens, and we're going to give the force tokens to... yeah, we should be able to deal with these. We're going to give one to... We'll give one to Shay, and then we'll give one to, let me see if we're going to be able to do damage here. 3 damage for this. And then Shay can do, okay, so yeah, we should be okay. And then one for, we'll give one for Holland. Okay. So Holland goes first, and he's going to use Rapid Punch. When you use a melee damage scale, you add +2. So 1 + 2, 3. And we're going to empower that. And we get a buff. So that's 3 damage plus 1 buff. Okay. And we're going to damage the Screamer because the Shadow Hunter is... stealth. Oh, we might not be able to do this. I just noticed something. Oh no, we should be fine because the Shadow Hunter is 2 health. Okay. So, and then we're gonna also do a Rapid Punch on the Screamer using for Shay, and Shay will also get 1 buff. It's empowered, and then so the Screamer is taken care of. So now the Shadow Hunter is revealed. And Kukurito is going to use the Leaf Cutting Strike to do 1 damage and move the crystal by 1. Okay. And then Palsette is going to use Energy Bolt for 1 damage, but she also gets aggro. 1 aggro for that. And the Shadow Hunter is taken care of, and we defeated 2 enemies, so we get 2 souls. Okay, so the next step is the key step, and since there's no mob, then look at that, it's cool. So we were able to claim that key. So what we're gonna do next is so now it's Shay's turn, and Shay is going. Oh, I also have to make sure we roll the dice. We've got 1 force and 2 force with an additional roll, and another force. It's not even gonna matter because they're not gonna do anything. Let's just say we give them all to Kukurito. So Shay is going to skip the turn, so she gets that. She gets her abilities back. Kukurito is also going to skip, and he's going to be able to get the Leaf Cutting Strike back. And Palsette is going to use Cool Hunt. There's no enemy, but we get to move 1 spot, so we're not going to trigger that next one, the next encounter. And then Holland is going to skip, and he's going to get Rapid Punch back. So now in the next step, we get the key, and since there are no mobs, so we were able to claim both keys. Nice. Okay, and then it is Kukurito's turn now. There's no mob, so he's just going to skip. Palsette is also going to skip. And everyone is skipping, so the next turn is going to be Palsette. Leading. Okay, but the next step is going to have, oh, you know what you know what, so Kukurito is not skipping. Actually, Kukurito is going to use the Leaf Cutting Strike to move 1 spot. Okay, that way we don't have to deal with the 3 mobs, even though it might be a good idea to get souls, but I don't want to. Okay, so the next step is actually going to that spot over there with just only 1 mob. And we got the Watcher, and Palsette actually goes first. Hold on, so this is him, Shay, skip, Kukurito. Hold on, let me just check here. Okay. Yep. And then get that straight. Skip. Kukurito. Skip. Okay. Yeah, everything's good. Just making sure that it's really Palsette's turn. Okay, so only 4 HP, so these guys should be able to handle that. Don't want to accumulate anymore. You know what we should do is use Taunt. So let's see here. Have they used the Energy Bolt? That's just 1 damage. And then now it's Holland's turn. Holland's gonna taunt, and he's gonna get 3 aggros. Oh, I forgot to roll the dice. Let's just do that real quick. 1 soul and 1 force. We're going to give Holland that force, and he's going to empower the taunt. So he's going to be able to remove. Oh, no. We'll give Shay that. But with taunt, he gets 3 aggros, and then we can remove 1 aggro from a character. Now it's Shay's turn. She's going to empower this to get 1 buff and damage for 3, so the Watcher is gone. And we got 1 more soul. Very cool. So now the board is clear, and we're entering the boss phase. So the boss summons 2 mobs. Okay. And 4 boss cards. And we only have to deal 6 damage to the boss, because we have discovered 2 weakness points for the boss. When you landed on the key steps with no mobs around. So, let's see here, 7, 8, 6. Okay. Let's see what kind of stuff the boss has here. Okay, so we need to make sure that we debuff the boss, because the boss has the beat up there that attacks everyone, and it pierces through shields. 2 damage to everyone, and then everyone gets the red threat, which adds 1 damage whenever they get damaged. So we want to make sure that the boss is debuffed. Okay, so now it is Holland's turn again to lead. We're gonna roll the dice, and we get 2 2 force tokens and 1 soul. Okay. We're gonna give the force token to Kukurito, and the other one is to Shay. Okay. So Holland goes first. He's going to use Rabbit Punch. That's 3 damage to 3 damage. We're gonna damage the acid ooze. Okay. And then now it's Shay's turn. She's going to also use Rabbit Punch. Oh, this is where it gets kind of dicey. Oh no. Yeah, Kukurito can debuff. Okay. So she's going to use a Rabbit Punch empowered, so she gets 1 more buff, and that's the max for her. And she's gonna deal 3 damage to the Watcher. Well, actually, she is able to take care of the Watcher because she has 3 plus 2, so that's 5. So the Watcher is just gone. Okay. And now it is Kukurito's turn. Kukurito is going to even Kukurito can get rid of the Okay, Kukurito is going to use Energy Bolt, empowered. So that's +1 target. So he's going to damage the Acid Ooze. So that's out of the picture. And also the Raging Boar. Okay. And then it is Palsette's turn, and Palsette is going to use Initiate to debuff. And she has +1 Empower as a passive, so she's going to use that. So she can buff one person. We're going to buff Holland, and then we're going to debuff the boss. Very nice. Okay, so now it's the boss's turn. His first action, since he's debuffed, is he's going to attack everyone. That's worse, actually, when he's debuffed. He's going to attack everyone for 4? That's just crazy. Oh, at least we don't have to worry about the additional damage. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would the debuff version of this... Oh, but he only attacks one character versus everyone. I see, okay. So, since Holland has the most aggro, so he's going to attack Holland for 4. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if he's going to attack everybody for 4, I mean, we're better off with him not being debuffed. Okay, and then he's going to get 2 shield. And then he's going to attack again for 3. He's going to attack Holland for 3. Okay. Alright, so now Shay gets to go first. And Shay is going to use Grand Saver. Oh, no. Don't forget to roll the dice. So 2 force tokens. So one, we're going to give 1 to Shay. And no, we're going to, 1 to Shay and 1 to Holland. How about that? Okay, so Shay is going to empower. This card can be empowered twice. So she's going to use, so 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, just using this without empowering it, actually, she's able to to damage the boss for 2 plus 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, oh, but he has 2 shields, so 8 minus 2 is still 6, and then we get rid of 1 shield. He still get damage for 6. Oh, and then I forgot that to place 2 damage already on him because of that, because of the keys. So she's able to get rid of the boss. So there you go. It's not 10. 4. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And now it's Kukurito's turn, and Kukurito is going to heal. He gets 1 aggro, but he heals for, we're going to heal Mason for 4. Okay. And then Palsette's turn, she is just going to pass. So she gets all of the spells back. Alright, nice. This is going really well. So hopefully it's going to stay that way. So now the boss is going into phase 2. So we remove the cards. So during phase 3, actually, he gets all of these the same cards back. So for phase 2, still 8 points or 6 points of health. And then these are the cards. Okay, cool. So now it is was it Shay who was who initiated first last time? We're not even done yet, are we? Hold on. So Palsette's gonna skip. Let me see here. Let me just look at my stream real quick and make sure that everyone gets a turn. Okay, so I skip Holland's turn. We'll make sure that we do that. So Holland is actually going to just skip his turn so he gets all of his spells back. And then now we're going to phase 2. And now it is Kukurito's turn to lead. Okay. So Kukurito is just going to... Oh, no. Kukurito is going to go ahead and debuff. Oh. I keep forgetting to roll the dice. So 1 soul and 1 force. And we're going to give... we're going to give Palsette. Do we want to give Palsette? We'll give Kukurito the force. Okay. So he's going to use that to empower initiate. So 2 characters can get buffs or debuffs. So we're going to buff Palsette. And we're going to debuff the boss. Okay. Now it is Palsette's turn. And Palsette is going to... Palsette is going to use... Palsette. Wow, and then she suffers 3 damage for using Pyrokinesis. Really? She burns herself when she casts that spell. She's not very good, is she? Okay, so we're just gonna we're gonna use Energy Bolt for 1 damage, and she gets 1 aggro. Okay. And now it is Holland's turn, and Holland is going to Holland is going to use Fortress, so we're going to remove the aggro from Palsette, and he gets 1 shield. And then Shay is going to use Grand Saver. So that's 2, plus 2, 4, plus 2, 6, plus 2, 8, plus 2, 10. So she's able to do 10 damage on the Boar. Wow, and then she gets all of the spells back. Now I tried to get clarification actually about the passive here, when, like the ability when you the ability that stays as a buff when the card is in cooldown. And I tried to see if the effect only happened when the card is in cooldown, but the way that it's described in the book, and there's no other mention of it except for that one section, it says, let me read that part, because I question whether or not you can use the ability while you're using the card, but I think you can, because it says effects with the card turning icon stay in effect. So it's saying that it's already effective when you use the card, and then it stays in effect while it's in cooldown. So that means that when you're using the card, you can use the effect. So, and that was the only mention of it in the book. Okay, so, which makes her pretty OP if you with this setup. She can deal a lot of damage, but she also has only 10 health. So, okay, so everyone got their turn, and then looks like the boss is not able to do anything because the boss is, the second phase is defeated also. Wow, so we're doing really well here. Okay, So the boss even didn't even get to do anything. Alright, so now we go back to the original 4 for the third phase. And now Palsette gets to go first. Okay, so Palsette, so we roll our dice. So 3 force tokens. And we're going to give one to Palsette. We're going to give two. We're going to give 2 to Kukurito. Okay. So Palsette goes first. She's going to use Initiate to debuff the boss and buff one character. And we're gonna buff. We'll just buff Palsette herself. Now it is Holland's turn, and Holland is going to use Rabbit Punch. So 1 + 2, 3 damage. Yeah, and we won, I think. Now it is Shay's turn, and Shay is going to use. Why was this on cooldown? Didn't we? Everything goes back up. It was last turn that she used her last card and dealt 10 damage, so everything's back. So she's going to use Grand Saver with using 2 boosts to empower it for +1 damage. So that's 3 + 2, 5 damage. Yep, boss is taken care of. Wow, we did it. Okay. And then what I was going to do with Kukurito's turn actually is Kukurito is going to heal everybody for 2 plus empower 2. So 2 + 4, 6. So everyone actually gets to recover for 6 points. And he gets 1 aggro. So everyone's fully healed up. No one's even damaged at the end of the battle. So yeah, we defeated the Boar. Very nice. Okay, so let's take care of the. Let me just get rid of all of these. So for the next session, and we're at which 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, I'm at 7. Let me just write a note to myself here. Let me just jot it down somewhere. Okay. So we have 7, oh, actually 8 souls because we also defeated the boss, so we have 8 souls to start when we start the next round. I think everything else gets removed. So let's consult the manual here. Let's put that away. And let me turn off the air because it's getting too cold. Okay, so intermission. We're going to read the intermission section of this manual. I'll be back in just a second. So the next part of our adventure actually will take us to stage 1 against the greedy mother. Okay. Alright. Okay. So it says, after you defeated a stage, during the intermission, heroes return to the base camp and prepare for the next stage. Return all damage, aggro, shield, force, and buff tokens. Okay, so we don't actually get to keep these. Okay. As a reward for completing the stage, all heroes level up once. Follow the skill tree progression below, and select one skill to upgrade. A level 1 skill becomes level 1, 2, and level 2 skills become level 1, 3. Once all heroes have leveled up, your rank will need to be recalculated. Okay. Also, keep in mind that you can pause the game at this point, simply noting down the skills each hero has, or by putting each hero card in their skills card in one envelope each. And when you restart the game during the next session, simply take the skills you've noted down, set up the stage, and ready to go. Yeah, and I'm going to end the session here after I set this up. If you wish, you may perform full talent reset, yada yada. So they didn't say anything about how... like for the turn order, they didn't say anything about who's going to start the turn. So it's like it's almost like they're saying, oh, here's when the stage is cleared, you go to the intermission, then onto the next stage. The play time for this stage is set so that clearing one stage is enough to go. Therefore, you can save the game during intermission. Okay, yeah, they didn't really say anything about the leadership situation. They just say you determine the leader at the start of the game. So I guess the way that we do this is just when we move to the next stage, it's just going to go to the whoever's next clockwise. So it just happens that it goes back to Holland. But anyway, because it only took us 4 rounds to beat that first stage 0. So what we're going to do now is we're going to level up 1 skill for each character. But there's also they also added, they forgot to mention in there, you also get an artifact, I think, for completing the stage. Let me see if I can read. Did they even have that added in the manual? Because I know it's like a new thing. I don't think it's mentioned here. Oh, here it is. Extra mode. Okay, so this EX mode is a special mode that was not originally included in the Japanese release of Testament. It was created as a stretch goal for the Kickstarter campaign we ran for the English version of the game. As such, it is a variant mode of play that can be enjoyed separately from the conventional Testament experience. While it does not alter the core gameplay, it adds another wrinkle to the formula, thereby increasing overall replayability. EX mode utilizes all the same rules as standard mode. However, it adds a loot mechanic wherein, after a boss is defeated, players gain a special item that enhances their abilities, similar to MMORPG loot system. After a boss is vanquished in EX mode, they will drop items for the players to loot. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and do the EX mode because that's more fun. I mean, since it doesn't change anything else. About looted items. All looted items have an activation timing. Counted from the owning character, items do not disappear after use. Huh? All looted items have an activation timing. Okay. There are 6 categories of items available to players, each one possessing a unique ability that will aid the heroes in battle. Setting up. When playing EX mode, be sure to shuffle all of the item cards to create a deck of potential looted items. Okay, so I need to grab the deck. How to obtain loot items. After the stage is clear, the lead player draws 2 items to choose. 2 items, and then choose one, and then put the other one at the bottom of the loot deck. Players agree on which item which character gets the item. There's no upper limit as to how many items a character may have. Nice. About Reardane. In EX mode, Reardane begins the game with one item, or that's one of the extra character. At the start of the game, the player using Reardane draws one item. This can't be transferred to another player. Reardane's special ability is only utilized in EX mode. About Heal Burst Ring. You are not revived when using this item. You still need some other healing effect to revive. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's get the let's loot our item, and then level up our characters, and then I'm going to end the session. Okay, let me just go ahead and shuffle this this deck. Oh, there's a boss freaking cards. Oops. Okay. I didn't take care of the boss though. The boss cards. All right, gotta remove the specific card for the boar, and then grab the 4 cards for stage 1. Okay, and I gotta shuffle that. And this is going to be the boss card for Greedy Mother. Yeah, and then they'll say if you need to reshuffle the monster deck too. So we're not gonna do that until we need to, I guess. And here are the loot items. So I'm going to shuffle these. Just put these away so I can sit down. Okay. Give it one last shuffle here, and we're good to go. Okay. So we're gonna select the top 2 cards. So we got the Healing Crystal or the Power Crystal. Okay, so the Healing Crystal removes threats from yourself. And Power Crystal gives you, you gain 1 force. And I know it was supposed to include like, and I'm still waiting for them to reply to me because I got my game from Amazon, not from the Kickstarter. I'm not sure if they're gonna send me like the misprint and the missing reference card. Let's see here, board game. Let's see how these cards work before I decide which one to get. Looks like there's a misprint for one of the item cards as well. Okay, there's a item card timing that they apparently forgot to print out. It's funny how the manual mentioned the whole timing situation, but it didn't give you any reference. So for the healing crystal, when you pass, so yeah, it's funny because they forgot to print it on the item cards themselves, and it looks like they're not willing to put reprint all the item cards, and instead they're gonna give you a reference item card timing instead. So, and then for the power crystal, also when you pass, and not a forced pass, of course. Okay. So you know what? Maybe we'll give the healing crystal to Holland. How about that? So now Holland has a healing crystal. So how we're going to put this on a character, we'll just maybe slide it underneath. Or, yeah, just like that. So you'll see the healing crystal. Alright. Cool. And then this goes to the bottom of the loot deck. The loot that we didn't select. Okay, so let's do the level up, and we're at 8 souls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And because it didn't say that I need to return the soul back. Let me just double check that. Return all damage, aggro, shield, force, and buff tokens. Yeah, it didn't say anything about souls, so we're just gonna assume then that we keep the souls that we have collected from the previous stage. Okay. And I think with the mobs, I'm just gonna reshuffle them because like it's a new area. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that because, like, I think starting from stage 4, stage 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Starting from stage 4. We have to switch it up anyway to a more difficult stage 3, stage 4. Let me see. Oh yeah, starting stage 4. Actually, we're gonna use a more difficult selection of monsters. So. Is that this over here? These are the name monsters, right? Yeah. I think these are like the monsters that the boss can summon. Let's see, how does that work? Setting up, set all monsters number on the top right and then separate them by stage. Create the mob deck of your current deck with a black background. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. And these have stage numbers? Oh, I see. Okay, 1. It's only the bosses from stage 1 and stage 3 can summon specific mobs, apparently. Okay. Yeah, and then there's no real explanation whether, you know, if you're at the new stage, whether you should reshuffle the mob deck. I wish that would be that thorough with the setup, with the instructions. You know, like the this is why I like games from Fantasy Flight Games, because they're very thorough with the explanation and the setup and everything else. And if you have questions about something, usually you can get the answer like very easily, and they have a reference page. And this game actually is just all over the place when it comes to the instruction manual and some unanswered questions about the setup. Prepare stage board of the tutorial and recommend the game. After your first game, may skip stage 0 and instead perform the intermission, take an additional level up, and begin with stage 1. But that's part of the fun. And then they try to like push you into this like, oh yeah, you don't have to play like the whole campaign. You can just, you know, just make it fun. Just say, you know, to experience the full campaign, start at stage 0. Because fighting that boar was actually pretty fun, and it can get pretty tough. So So here's the part that now bothers me. It's because I just read this whole part about setup for the final battle. When players begin the final stage, stage 5, all heroes start with 1 buff token. Unlike other stages, stage 5 is only the boss fight, so you will have no time to gain soul or shields by defeating mobs. But they never really explain whether that's supposed to go all the way to the left. Because there's a part where they say, if I kill the boss, do I get a soul? And they say, yeah, but only after you defeated all 3 phases of the boss. I mean, that gives me the impression that then when you start a new stage, the soul is going to stay where it's at. Versus having to go back all the way to the front. Because why wouldn't they answer that with killing the boss will not give you any souls, whether the phases or the boss entirely, because you will be moving to the next stage. I mean, they could have answered it that way, but they didn't. Let me see, where's that whole thing about souls? Oh, because I remember reading that question. And then of course it's hard to find this again. Oh yeah, do we gain soul when we defeat the boss? Yes, but only when it's fully defeated, not when you clear HB phase 1 or 2. And then since they never really explain what happened with force, if it resets or not. Okay. Alright, let's level up the heroes so I can wrap this up. Okay. For Shay, let's see. Oh, I need to grab the card. I need to just leave everything out. Okay, let's just do this right now. What do I want to level up for Shay? So... Ooh. Gaia Break. Berserker Soul. I mean, these are like the level 3 abilities for her. It's not as good as the level 1, level 2 stuff. Oh, I guess if you want to go into the B part. Okay. Thunder Break. Okay. So I guess for Shay, I'm going to upgrade her Grand Saver to Gore Smash. Okay. For Holland, I'm going to upgrade the Rabbit Punch to Grand Saver. Maybe I should focus on the B portion. But B is remove threat from yourself. And that's not an error, is it, like the other card? Nope, it's not an error. So I don't want that because I don't want him to take aggro away from himself. Okay, so Grand Saver is fine. Okay. For Kukurito, what's the next upgrade to Healing Wave? Let's see. So 2B, what's 3B? Sanctuary. Wow, every round you get wow. Every round you get 2 health. Well, this is on cooldown. Nice. And yeah, see, that's why I'm like wary about the way that the cooldown skill works. And they don't have any good explanation because it says effects with the cooldown icon stay in effect as long as the skill is on cooldown, but it doesn't say that it doesn't trigger when you use it. You know, I mean, I can understand for like an ability like this. It says targets all heroes. Well, see, because the target all heroes, it actually still applies. So I think this still applies when you're using the card too. Okay, yeah. And since they didn't give any good explanation on that, so I'm going to use. Ooh, and he also has Holy Rays that can damage all enemies for 1, huh? Okay, but that's not even very good. Just 1 damage, but to all enemies, that's not very good. So we're gonna upgrade that to Sanctuary. And for Palsette, what can we do with Initiate? Misteron or Crowd Kill. Dealing damage to enemies with a buff at round start. Okay. You know what? Let's do that. Because I don't think the spells are not very good. I think for Energy Bolt, let's see. For B is 2 damage and 2 aggros, 1 damage to 2 enemies. That's not very good. And you can increase the damage to 3 damage. Not bad. Maybe we'll do that first. So we're going to upgrade Energy Bolt to Pyrokinesis for her. Okay, and that's all of the upgrades, and now we have to recalculate their ranks. So let me just go ahead and do that. And we're just going to reshuffle these. Just feel better about reshuffling the mob deck. This is a new area, let's just say, you know. We have a new group of monsters there. Okay. So for Palsette, it's 0 plus 3 minus 4 minus 3 minus 7. So that's minus 6. So she's still at rank 1. Okay. For Kukurito, 0 plus minus 2 minus 2 minus 2 minus 6 plus 1. So it's minus 5. So Kukurito is still rank 1 as well. Holland, 3, 4. And then minus, oh, he drops a rank. Minus 2, minus 1, that's minus 3. So 1, so he drops a rank. So getting all that damage, the damage freaking card actually is not necessarily a good thing. Because he's like a tank that can also damage. So now he's down to rank 3 because he has what? 1 plus 1 score. So it's too bad. Okay. And then for Shay, it's probably going to be worse. Oh no, how can you get worse than rank 1? Minus 3, minus 2, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. So she's still rank 1. So I guess, you know, the more damage you deal, the less health you have. So, which makes, that's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily make sense though, because like you're supposed to be you know, you're supposed to be more powerful the more, you know, as you go along. But I guess it's just a way for them to balance the game, because if you're dealing too much damage. So anyway, but yeah, this next stage actually doesn't look that hard, but the boss actually has 10 health, and we can grab 2 keys, and it's going to be hard to grab those keys because there are a lot of encounters along the way. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. I feel good about beating that stage 0 very quickly. The first time I played this game, it took me like 2 hours. But I was also still learning, you know. I had to stop like after every single step. And then last session, it was also pretty long because it was very hard because we had to deal with the mobs, never-ending amount of mobs. But anyway, that's it. Look forward to play stage 1.